All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. May the Most High bless you. Coming back with another Real Talk video. I want to, off the top, give a shout out to Miss Selena, 31, and Jackson, 76. Powerful email. I love these type of questions. Is it a sin for Christians to dance? And I'm pretty much was just like y'all growing up, because I had a mouth on me growing up. I would always ask questions, because growing up, so many people would always tell you that everything you doing is a sin. But when you ask people to expound on it, teach you, show you, they'll tell you stuff like, don't worry about it. And a lot of people argue about this, and this is a very hot topic for Christians. So I'm going to tie all this in and take my time in this video as the Lord put it in my spirit to come back and respond to y'all, answering y'all email, and just sum it up in one. I heard people arguing about this all the time. But great question once again. Now, the thing is, what kind of dancing are you doing? Because it's like you said, in most churches, I know down here in Dallas, a lot of them allow the young people to mime dance, but then some of them will not let them mime dance, nor do they gospel rap. So they reject the young people a lot of times. But they never explain and they never teach the young people. So what I want to do in this video, let's teach about dancing, and what other way is there better to do than go to the word, you know. But I'm going to just be doing this real talk and going off the scriptures in my mind, and I might come back and do a part 2 on this if it be needed. But the thing was, we always talk about David. Let's use David for an example. David dancing out his clothes. Now, the type of dance that David did versus a lot of dancing what we see now in most churches, it don't add up. And look at David's purpose. See, the Ark of the Covenant was brought back. So that showed me there's a proper way to dance, because if the Most High would have had a problem with the way David danced, he would have let him know. That's not the way you dance, David. Don't dance that way. So there are people dancing the right way, and then there are people dancing the wrong way. You got some women dancing, they say it's holy, and really it's hoish. Some men doing the same thing. I'm just being real, y'all. So once again, yes, King David danced before the Lord with all his might. But what kind of dance was he doing? Now, Moses had a sister by the name of Miriam. And Miriam, she led the women in praising and dancing. Go back to Israel when they crossed the Red Sea. We see that there was a dance. But if you keep reading, you see something different also. Now, this is why I don't get up in these churches with people when they telling you to grab somebody, run around the church. I call it tag team dancing. And some folk just entertaining, having fun, and it's not of God. I'm just being real. We want to make everything now just, oh, we got a tag team to speak in tongues. I talked about this a while back. We got a tag team to shout. But for me, it's personal. I don't have to tag team with folks. I don't have to shout with folks. I don't have to dance. I mean, it's what the Holy Spirit leads me to do. I'm not knocking nobody. You do what you do. But I'm just saying me. As for me, I don't get involved in a lot of that stuff, because I look at the scriptures very closely, and I get a good understanding. And when you just get caught up in what everybody else is doing, a lot of trouble come into play, y'all. A lot of people shouting and running around and tag teaming and speaking in tongues and everything, but the question is, are they doing it for themselves? Or are they doing it to entertain people? Or are they really being led by the Holy Spirit? So you got to watch out, because some people calling it the Holy Spirit, and it's a devilish spirit. I'm not talking about everybody though, y'all. And you have to be careful who you tag teaming up with and all this other stuff. You got to be careful what you listening to, what you present to the church. But when you do it in order, oh, it's a beautiful thing. You'll see people coming to Christ through the ministry, through the dance ministry, through the miming ministry, when it's done and decent and in order. But when it's not in order, it's not of God. And I hate when I see people just tell, oh, it's a singing a dance. What you doing that for? But they don't explain it. It's like me getting the Bible right here, y'all, and just throwing scriptures at y'all and then tell y'all to have a nice day. It have to be rightly divided. And when the word is not rightly divided, confusion is all over. This is why so many people don't want to believe the word. Because so many people are not teaching what's right. They're not rightly dividing. They're getting one or two scriptures and then yelling at you, hollering at you, trying to get money out of you or whatever, and that's it. But not everybody, once again. I have to say that all the time. Not everybody. There's some good people out here doing what's right, teaching what's right, y'all. Now, the one thing I like to say on a topic like this, from studying, we can say that the Bible doesn't give specific instructions on dancing, but it gives, once again, good examples and bad examples of dancing. And a lot of times, if you're not careful, your dancing is with witchcraft and wickedness, idolatry, evilness. Problem Israel had. You better be careful with this. And anytime there's dancing, there's music. Let's fast forward to our day's time. We got music. We got women that's very beautiful. They dress very revealing. And if you're not careful, what fellas, we looking too hard at we. And when you start too hard, you get curious. Then you start imagining in your mind. Then you start lusting. It's a sin, a lust in your mind. A lot of us committing adultery in our mind pretty much every day, but we're not going to say amen. But I say it for you, amen. I tell y'all all the time, I say what people are scared to say, because I'm going to say some things in this video that you might be scared to say, but I'm going to say it because it might help somebody. I'm not worried about how folks going to view me and always want to judge me. I ain't worried about all that. I'm not on here to be popular. I'm on here to tell the truth, y'all. And we need to tell the truth about this dancing and this music. That way, the younger folk and some of the older folk will know what to do and what not to do. Now, the reason why I'm saying this with idolatry and wickedness and all this, because as I talked about a minute ago, Miriam and the children of Israel, when you look at what they was doing, they wound up building that idol. And with that idol, they started worshiping that idol. They was dancing, they was shouting and praising, but they was praising the wrong God. Y'all see what I'm saying? That's why you got to be careful. That was a good example with Miriam when they crossed the Red Sea, and then it became a bad example. Y'all see what I'm saying? And think about it. That made the Most High so angry. So when you look at this dancing and the sin led them into some sinful activity. Because with body movements involved, like I was just saying, lustful thoughts, you can even throw in emotions. Let's be real. You cut on the internet right now, my brothers and sisters. First thing you see on YouTube, 9 times out of 10, or some ad or some commercial, somebody half naked. Cut on the television, somebody half naked. Get in your cell phone, somebody halfway or all the way butt naked. Hey, Brandon Max say, butt naked in the nude. This is what you see. Most of the young kids in school now, getting in trouble. Sex, dancing, all sex. You name it. So when you cut on the TV or internet, you see these big butts in the screen all the time of younger women and older women. You can say, man, y'all, even though some of y'all don't want to, because y'all know I'm telling the truth. And I love you. That's why I'm going to tell you the truth. And I know I'm not the only one that's seen this. Just last week, I was going to one of Miniman's videos, and I clicked on Miniman 45, and some big booty woman came up. I forgot all about Mitty Man for about 5 minutes. Tell the truth, JT, I am. Man, that woman was popping and dropping like it was hot. And I'm looking at the other screen over, and I might have to catch Mitty Man later. That's what I'm talking about. That's going on in church now, but not all churches. Once it gets your attention, because the breast is moving, the butt is shaking, everything's shaking in all the right places, it gets your attention. Why do you think so many pastors are committing adultery? So many ministers of music and musicians keep sleeping around with the praise team or the choir members. Folk in the congregations coming up pregnant all the time. Young children coming up pregnant all the time. This is what it all boils down to, and it's all wicked when it's done the wrong way, dancing. So I got to tie all this in together, y'all. Fellas, y'all can say, man, you start too long, you're in trouble. So going back to when you look at Miriam, yeah, at first they was dancing to celebrate the victory that the Most High Power brought them through that Red Sea, but then something else happened. Idolatry. David had a purpose. His purpose, I'm dancing because I'm celebrating the victory. We done brought back the Ark of the Covenant. To Jerusalem. So, I would be crazy to tell you that all dancing is a sin. Or it is a sin for a Christian to dance. Let me take it to one of my favorite scriptures. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 is one of my favorite books in the Bible because that tells you it's a time and a season for everything. When you get to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and get around verse 4, it tells you it's a time to weep, it tells you it's a time to laugh, and it's a time to mourn, but then it tells you it's a time to dance. We skip over that one. But he's talking about dancing in spirit and in truth. Dancing the right way. So David knew what time it was when it was time for him to dance, y'all. So once again, I'll be a fool to tell you that, oh, it's a sin for a Christian to dance. All dances are wicked. No. It's just like music. I say the same thing with music because it's a form of art. What is dance? A form of art. God created all this beautiful stuff for us, but we take it and we mess it up. So powerful question, my brothers and sisters. I get this question a lot because so many people always ask me, well, my pastor then, and folks told me it was a sin because I was at the family reunion doing the electric slide, or I didn't get nobody pregnant, brother, or I had a little sip of wine, they put me in hell for that. You got to get the understanding for yourself. You got to. At most black family reunions, that's the first thing they're gonna do when it's time to start closing. They're gonna line up and do the electric slide. Out of love. The question is, once again, what kind of dancing are you doing? So, right there in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 4, that shows all of us there is a time that you praise the Lord through dancing. A lot of people are not taught this. So when you break all of this down, it's to honor the Most High. So that dance got to be respectful. It got to be honoring because you are honoring the Most High. But to the ones that's trying to honor each other, that's the problem. Now, I see why people say at family reunions or anywhere else, if you dance in the wrong way, it's a sin. I'm agree with that. Let me tell you why I agree with that. That's why I'm rightly dividing the word. Because I don't care where you at. If you at church, if you at a family reunion, if you're in your own house with people over, let me tell you something. If you dancing to bring attention to yourself or your body, therefore it is a sin. Because you dancing the wrong way. Let me keep it real because I'm still talking about what's real, y'all. In the world, when I was hitting the clubs, or if there was a house party, I was in love with watching a woman dance. The Most High know this. Ain't no need in the line. I would love to see a woman break it down, especially when she was fine, thick, body just banging. That's what got my attention. And that's when I would start lusted in my mind. And I would start thinking, man, if she moving like that on the dance floor, I sure want to know how she move in the bedroom. Can we keep it real? Some of us don't want to say, hey man, this for the real people, spiritual folks. And once I started getting involved in the church, thought it was going to be totally different. But I started seeing with my own eyes, man, club on Saturday nights ain't jumping like the church. Uh-oh. There we go, K-Ray, telling that truth again. I saw more women in the church with shorter skirts on and thongs on and breasts all out. I started telling people, man, forget going to the club, bro. Follow me to church. Or come with me to this musical. Because after the musical, all these women in the choir stand, the majority of them, they sleeping with the musicians. So you can get them quicker than you going to get the one at the club. I said, but it'd be cheaper to go to the club. Some of us catch that later on. You can say, hey, man, some of us will catch that later on. But to be real, y'all, y'all know I got a sense of humor and I love y'all. This dancing, when it's done right, is holy and acceptable. But when it's done wrong, this is what they don't want to teach the young people. Show them the scriptures. I'll come back and post Exodus and going back to Samuel and David and them dance. Or we all know we can open up the book of Psalms. Psalms will close it all out. We can go to Paul, and the same thing we dealing with now is the same thing Paul was addressing in the churches. So that's why I want to use the example of myself. When I used to see dancing in the world and then looking at it in the church and it was looking the same, I didn't know what to believe no more. This is why we need to address these things, y'all. We need to. When you look at this as a man, I'm talking about, I ain't never been a woman and don't plan on being one. You be ready to touch. Why you think so many men can't stay out the strip club right now? Why you think so many of us, when we was in the world, we was fighting with flesh and still fighting with flesh? Let's be real. Why you think so many Christians are looking at porn right now? See, I'm going to say something that's not taught that Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, get around verses 1 through 3. Paul said something that's overlooked. He said that it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Pick up the book. Go look at it. Not good. Because once you touch, that's it. She got you. That's something Solomon had a problem with. That's something his father David had a problem with. He just had to touch Bathsheba. To touch, to lay with, to have sex, to seduce. Same thing the devil did. Some of us will catch that later. So Paul made that strong statement. Why, fellas? We know. And let me keep it all the way real. And the young folks say, let me keep it 100. Paul was saying it is very easy for us as men. We get excited, we get on hard, and we be ready to have sex. That's why we don't need to touch. Some of us don't want to agree with that. That's what Paul was saying. When you break it down, he was letting us know as men, some of us got high sex drives. We see, we got to touch, and then we got to have it. Why you think so many Christian women are pregnant and not married? Oh, let me leave that alone. Why you think so many baby daddies and baby mama drama? I'm talking to the Christians, y'all. That's who Paul was talking to. So this dancing, I'm going all the way out in this video, y'all, leads to all kind of things when it's done the wrong way. But we still have to tell the good examples of dancing like David done. Y'all see what I'm saying? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So the Bible shows us once again, there's a way to dance that you don't tempt others. That's why it was nothing wrong with the way David danced. When I see a lot of young people dancing, I don't see them out of order. When I go to different churches, I see them dancing and giving praise to the Lord the way they know how. They not dancing all out of order because somebody taught them the right way. But then I have seen some young folks, dances didn't look so presentable. I see women falling out, shouting in church. And when they shout and falling out, they dress is all the way up. You can see all their business. Why you think them deacons love to help them up off the floor? Because they get to see everything. Oh, yeah. I'm keeping it real, y'all. That's why everything you see in church is not holy like they say. I'm not talking about everybody. Everybody's shout is not a shout to the Most High. Some of these folks really shaking these demonic, trying to shake these demons out of them, y'all. So once again, that sinful way of dancing, God said he hated. So yeah, once again, look at Miriam. When you keep reading the story, she led to dancing and praising, but once again, soon after Miriam danced, them praises they sent up to the Father, the Israelites was found dancing before their golden calf. Y'all know the story. So that same one that was leading the praise team, woo, look at somebody say, ouch, it's about to get real hot. The same one that was leading the praise team started dancing all the wrong ways. And she led others into dancing the wrong way because now they focus wasn't on the Most High no more. It was on another God. And when Moses came back and saw that, he went to the camp and he saw that calf, that dancing, and he got fired up. He was angry. And we know what he threw down. What did he throw out his hands? And he broke them into pieces at the foot of the mountain, y'all. So this is why I hope I got a few praise team leaders listening and minister of music's listening, because nowadays church done became all about dancing now. You see it in the big time gospel field. Before people even give you the word, the first thing they want to do is make you dance. Get up on your feet. Every church I know got a hype man or a hype woman. They want to tell you when to praise. So I'm making the point with Miriam, who was the praise team leader. She led the praise, good at first, and then she led them right on into wickedness, idolatry. It's a whole lot we miss out of the Bible when you don't study. Let me tell y'all something. I'm trying to wrap this video up. I was at this musical just the other day. Now, this church was full, packed. And when I was at this musical, this woman that was on the praise team, I don't even remember her name or nothing. That ain't even important no way. But y'all should have saw what this woman had on, fellas. She might as well have been on the stage with Beyonce. I'm being real, y'all. This is why JT don't get involved in a lot of musicals and a whole lot of stuff no more. It wasn't no spirit in it. That's why I left. But what she had on was so tight. And yes, she was fine. She was a brick house. Songs say 36, 24, 36. How can she lose with what she used? That's what she was, a brick house. And she knew it, and she was in front of the church with all her sexiness out, crying like she was really in the spirit. Was I looking? Hell to the yeah. I found myself staring, and I ain't lying. I had to go repent. My focus wasn't on the Most High. My focus was on them thighs. Them breasts that was out. Her breast was so far out while she was up jumping, I saw my head doing this with her. Yeah. K-Ray, I said, God dog, like we say. I said, what is, where am I at? Am I in a strip club? Or I'm at a club, or I'm at church? For 5 or 6 minutes, I forgot I was sitting in the church. So in other words, this woman caused me to stumble. Yes, I allowed it. I kept looking. I said that was better than looking at some porn. Some of us say amen. We'll say amen later on. What you don't want to do is cause your brother or your sister to stumble. That sister caused all the men, except for the gay ones in the back, to stumble. And I mean it out of love. Homosexuals was there and they let it be known. They was all sitting on one row holding hands. That's why once I saw the spirit in that church, I told that fool, don't you ever invite me to over there again. Because I don't want to be in Satan's kingdom. I mean Satan's church building. And I had to get up out of there. So my point is, who was really focused on worshiping and praising with that woman right there doing all that? And she turned around and was bending over on purpose so you can see. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm still looking at her now in my mind. Hot dog. Let me get back right. Y'all know I got that sense of humor. It has to be done right. So as I close out, y'all, once again, I'm going to say something that Paul said in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 6. When you get around verses 19 and 20, he made a point. He said, our bodies belong to the Most High. Your physical self is temple. We represent the Most High. Everything we do with our bodies must be honoring to Him. It wasn't no honoring what she was doing. It wasn't no honoring what I was doing with my lusting in my mind. I was sitting right there lusting right in the church. I had to come repent. If we dancing, once again, or playing music, or preaching, or speaking in tongues, or shouting, all of this, if we doing all this to get attention to ourselves, then you are sinning. And then with this dancing, you are tempting somebody sexually. All those around you. Now that's what we not taught. And I'm going to keep it real like I just done. So some of y'all, I know y'all don't like this video, but hey, the truth shall make you free. That's all I got to say, y'all. So with that being said, is it a sin for Christians to dance? What kind of dance are you doing? If it's done the right way, there is no sin at all. That's honoring to the Father. But if you like that woman I just talked about, oh yeah, you need to take your dancing shoes off and get somewhere and sit down. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.